Hey, I'm Carson Gregory. Welcome to the first podcast. We don't actually have a name for it yet, so I'm pretty sure it's just gonna end with Carson Gregory. But we'll cross that road when it comes to or the bridge. Yeah, so I'm a high school student. I'm just entering the grade 12 next year. I'm going into complete business stuff. That's the most interesting stuff to me. I think I can do a pretty good job in that area too. Uh, there's a whole bunch of stuff that kind of goes along with that, but that's gonna bore you guys to death. Uh, let's get to why I'm making this podcast. Why would a 16-year-old high school student want to make a podcast? Really, because at this point uh, in the summer, about 2 weeks in, I am extremely bored. Work is boring. Sitting at home is getting boring. I'd like to do something pro- more positively with my life. I'd like to make something happen. I'd like to make change. I'd like to have some cool people on and have some cool conversations. So we're gonna try and do that. And if it takes off and takes me somewhere, that's the way it's gonna go. So the main thing for me, the motivation behind it really is why do we have such limited conversations in the world? Because you can see with so many different topics and so many different things, there's just a lack of communication because everybody has similarities, everybody has their differences. But if you sit down and have a true conversation about it, you'll find out that, oh, hey, maybe there is something that everybody has in common. It's not going to be the same thing the entire time, but it's going to be something that that you can still have. Like it's going to be something that's going to be rewarding, at least. Yeah, rewarding. It's going to be something that you can actually have the conversation with and find something out that stops all the hate, the arguments, and all that stuff. And that's not going to happen all the time. You're not going to find the perfect conversation with someone that's got the complete different opinion than you or something like that. But it's going to help. That's what I want this podcast to be. I'm going to try and have as many people on that are completely different. They're going to have we won't be arguing, we won't be doing anything like that. We'll just be talking. We'll just talk about whatever topic and wherever the podcast takes us, we're going to have that topic in conversation. So that's what I want to do. I want to have people from like music to like lifestyle people, like influencers maybe. I don't know. I still this is the first podcast, right? I'm going to be very optimistic. I hope I can get somewhere with this. I hope it's going to work out, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Um, next on, I think the other thing that is in having conversations with people that'll help them is uh, the lack of confidence and the lack of I say pride in what they like. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they were talking about how they really do like acting, and they think that's something they would really like to do. And they've done a whole bunch of courses on it, and they're like, "Oh, maybe I should try this out. Maybe this will work. Maybe that'll work." And they don't have the confidence, or not the confidence. They're too scared of what other people will say when they go to an audition, or say they get a part, or they go to like theater camp or something like that. They're too worried about what they have to say, which that completely ruins everything about what you want in life, right? Like you don't want to lose what's near and dear to your heart because someone else said something like that. Like, come on, like just do what you want to do to ensure that you're going to be happy. And I think happiness is the main ingredient in a long, good life because there's nothing else that you can do. And if you're angry all the time, you're not going to be happy. Like I'm working at Fortino's, and there's just a whole bunch of people that do not like what they're doing. They're just doing the same thing every day for 40 hours a week, getting paid like 14, 10 to highest maybe $18 an hour. Like that's not something that I would ever find enjoyable. And I know most of those people there don't find it enjoyable. And I think what happened with them is at an early age, they got lost of what they want to do. They didn't follow their passion. And if we go back to the acting kid, if he doesn't follow his passion now, what's going to happen in the future? He's going to end up just like them. He might be in that dead end job that nobody likes and he's going to hate it. It might not be as bad as making 14, 10 an hour. You might be making a ton of money, but you're not going to be passionate about what you're doing. So that's what I want these podcasts to be about is going through the steps of other people's lives and how they came across of what they're doing, or even maybe even helping people out, maybe just giving those other people just like the push, talking to someone like the acting kid that I can give them the extra push that'll make them go to what they want to do, advance them into the future so they can be passionate about what they want. There's a whole bunch of other people that can help me grow, I guess, and all that type of stuff too. So we're gonna also talk about a whole bunch of other stuff and have a whole bunch of different people on, and hopefully it gets pretty interesting. Like the next kind of, I know I've been talking about how you need to find your passion, you need to do that. I'm gonna try and explain how you will find it, but it really comes down to knowing what you enjoy the most. Like if you are into cameras, here we go, cameras. You'll be able to make a living being a photographer, no problem. Today is all about showing off what you have and showing off how you got it or what you do with it or anything like that. So all you really need to do is take a whole bunch of cool photos, put it on your Instagram account, and promote yourself. And then you'll continue from there and you'll create a business or anything like that. You'll be able to build a brand around yourself, which will be able to show off how you did it yourself, and you'll be able to stay passionate with it because it's something you love and you'll never get bored of because it's constantly changing. If you can find something like that in whatever field you like, you're set. And since I'm still in high school, we do these weird tests. They test you on what you should do in your life. So in Ontario, they call it career cruising. Uh, Basic premise of it is it's a quiz that's like 50 questions long that chooses and picks what you should do in your life. So, and it actually, yeah, it also puts in your marks. So it like chooses what it goes through what marks you have. So if you're really good at like the shop classes and stuff like that, they'll pick that into. And then if you're really good at like math, they'll be like, oh, you'll be a bank manager. Or if you're really good at English, you'll be a journalist or something like that. It's so fake. It doesn't truly represent. Like I get it's just to help, but what the schools do now is they base your entire life around it. And the guidance counselors are like, oh, what did career cruising say? Oh, what did this do? What did that do? And there's no real support around what you think you should do and what you want to do. I don't see anything in the school saying, find out what you want to do and do it. And that's another issue I think that's happening is there's no there's no person at most of the schools that say you should do what you want to do. It's all do this, do this. It's going to be good. You can make $80,000 a year. You can make $60,000 a year. There's nobody that's pushing anybody to go further. And that is a lot of money, but there's nobody pushing you to do it your own, or they're always giving you the safe bet. There it's so risk averse, and it's for me because I really like risks. I like entrepreneurship, and I think that's really cool where you can find something then build it your own. And that's why I gave the suggestion for someone that likes photos to build their own account and grow from there. Actually, yeah. Speaking of someone that did it on their own, I have a friend. In I won't name him, but he draws really, really good. He's a master when it comes to using a pencil. Then number two, he is a genius when it comes to that. He he takes classic architecture and draws, and he's got around 12,000 followers on Instagram, and he sells it through there. So this is a kid that just graduated. He started from just drawing for fun to getting really interested in it, and he started posting it on Instagram. And more people showed up. They went, oh wow, these are really good. So he started, and then someone sent in a comment, hey, how much can I buy that for? He started his price low as he continued to grow his account. He started selling them for higher. And recently, I think last month, he sold I think it was like the Vatican or something like that for $4,000 at 17. $4,000. Isn't that amazing? So what it is he found something that he's passionate about, right? That's an amazing thing. And he went from there. And that's another thing the schools won't tell you to do. If you're good at drawing, they're not going to tell you to take an arts degree. They're going to, well, they might. It depends on what guidance counselor you have because they really change from person to person. But they're not going to be like, oh, this is what you need to do because you're good at this. You'll need to find the person or maybe one out of 1,000 teacher that pushes you because they believe in you. It's really hard. And that's another thing where like teachers should 100% be paid more, but they need to be filtered out because there are some bad teachers. Bad teachers. Like they don't know what they're talking about. They got their degree, but they can't teach a class. And they need to be able to know how to not only control the class but be able to have the conversations with the class, because most of the classes that I've had that really suck are the ones where they just give you a book. And I can't learn that way. That's not me. For me, I got to learn by either doing it or having a good understanding of it before I get in there. And most of the time, if I'm trying to learn something, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look it up at this point. Like, there's no point in me going to a class that I don't enjoy because the teacher isn't good, the class isn't good, to learn something that I can just learn for free on the internet and get way more enjoyment out of it if I need to get something done. It's a strange world where some of the people that are getting paid and going on strike and stuff like that, they can get beat out by the internet. And that it doesn't mean that all teachers are terrible, and that's not what I'm saying at all. It is that there's a whole bunch of teachers um, that aren't fit for the job. And I've also had a bunch of teachers too that are amazing, that have like stood out of the blue. Like they change the way you think. They think about all these things, and most of them have been in high school. I've had about 3 teachers that have been amazing, and that's super hard. And I don't know how they're going to be able to navigate choosing what teacher is going to be good, because as soon as they could be amazing when they're younger, and then they just age and age and age, and they go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm stuck. Because they'll start off with a passion. Geez, I'm going back to this passion stuff all over again. They'll start off loving what they're doing, and then slowly and slowly and slowly they lose the feeling. And that's definitely what's going to happen. So if you can put yourself in a position where you can move on when you're done, then you're set. That's going to be hard, because that's in so many careers nowadays. There's no, if you get tired of it, you can't stop unless you have like the best retirement setup and savings account in the world, because you can't just stop nowadays, especially because money is such an apparent thing and you need it. It's impossible. There's no way that you can move on if you've lost passion for something. And it sucks. It really does, because how is somebody that really enjoyed their job and gave back to their community so much, for teachers for example, they lose passion and then they're stuck. They gotta wait till they get their full pension. And it's like, oh, damn, now they're screwed. Like, what are they gonna do? And it just ruins it, because it makes people miserable when they lose passion and interest. And that's okay. This is what the podcast is going to be like, but I think it will be 1,000 times better when I have another person on. I think if I can truly continue the conversation go, because currently I'm struggling here to figure out what should be, like, what I should talk about. I think I'm definitely just rambling at this point. There's not much I can continue on about, but we're gonna try. Like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. What are we gonna do in the future to solve all these issues that we have? Because we got global warming, we got the electric cars, we got all that type of stuff. And I want to have specialists on, or somebody that knows what they're talking about, because that would be really cool. Oh, and also, yeah, I'm gonna have my brother on. He's training to be an engineer, but he's a really smart guy. It's scary. I don't know. He got all the smarts from my mom or something like that. It was weird, because he is so like mechanically inclined. It's insane. Like, he built the ECU for my car, and it's just surprising. And the thing that's so interesting about that part is he's working with a professor at Dalhousie, and they're taking a Spitfire, the car, and making it fully electric. That's insane. And think about that. If he's super passionate about that, he could switch that around and make a business out of it. That's a cool thing. That's what I really like. If you can take a business from something you're passionate about, that's coolest. That's awesome. But global warming, how are we stopping that, man? The electric cars aren't pushing along that much. It's all, oh, isn't it all the cows? It's all the cows making that methane or whatever. Yeah, it's weird. I think I just got a text from my friend who was interested in this in having a podcast, and he took one of the co-ops at the like, student militia. It's not a militia, but it's like the training to be in the army kind of thing. And like they got to play with guns, and they not play, but they got to use like they got to train on some military guns. They got all that training. He wants to be into the in the military for sure. And I've also got another friend that's in the military, and he's really high up in there. Shout out to Blake Newbold, great photographer. Also, like a photographer for the military. Like I said, that's pretty. That's another person I'd be really interested to have on, and I'm definitely gonna have him on because he's one of the most interesting people I've met, and we rarely talk, but it's really really cool. Um, Bryce Webster, he helped me a lot with finding a microphone. I he suggested the Yeti. It's a microphone, but I got the Nano one because I'm cheap, and it still sounds pretty good. I hope it sounds good. But yeah, Bryce came along and he said, "Okay, man, you got to do this, this, and this. This is what you're gonna need in the future. You're gonna need boom stands and all that stuff, shock absorbers and all that type of stuff, pop filters, all that." He helped me out a lot, and he's in the music business. He's very music. He's very talented actually. I was hanging out with him and a couple other people, and just randomly he hopped on the piano and made something sound amazing. It was great. And then another guy was playing the guitar. They both just started jamming out. It's so interesting, and I'd like to see how they started from where they could have started from their parents forcing them into piano class, and then it just kind of that repetition just really got into them, and they really enjoyed it. That's someone that's be really cool to have on. I also just hopefully I can get my cousin Christy on. She created children's books about emotion and stuff like that, and that's something that's definitely going to be awesome. And if I can get her on, and I know she'll come because I haven't seen her in a while, and she's one of the coolest people. But if I can have her on and we can talk about how the book came being and the background of it and what the true meaning is of it. So it's called The Adventures of Little Sass, which is really interesting. It's on my Instagram story at Carson Gregory, which is it's it's something that I didn't think a child's book could be so impactful. It really pushed me back. It set me back because for a child's book to go into so many deep and amazing topics, to really open your mind up, and I think starting at the younger age of truly expressing emotion is so great. And with all those other things that are happening in the world, like just being able to show emotion and talk about it is the best thing. That's gonna be great. The other people, who else should I have on? I don't even know. Oh, hopefully, maybe this is a stretch. But when I was in a entrepreneurship contest called Dragon's Nest, kind of like the knockoff of Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, I met someone the teacher invited someone in to help us out, and her name is Tika Cameron. She is a life coach and kind of career coach, and she's an amazing person. She can continue. She's very busy, which is going to be the difficult part to bring her in. But she knows what she's talking about, and she helped me a lot. She planned almost like everything. It was insane. So the whole thing was I was going to be like a media management dude. I was going to help small businesses grow. That didn't really work out because I'm a 16-year-old, and who's going to trust a 16-year-old with their business's Instagram account? That's kind of where it hit. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait. I need to build a presence around me so they know they know I'm not just fooling around. And Tika kind of showed that to me. She really understood that issue, and she was like, all right, we got to figure some stuff out. So going into the competition, I came second place, which was pretty cool in all of Hamilton. And I don't know what it was, but it struck with me that she actually showed up to the competition because I wasn't expecting it because she was at class. She was really busy, so she couldn't come all the classrooms to help us out. And then she showed up at the competition. I don't know. That just gave me the extra oh yes, I get more people to believe in me, and that's just something that's really interesting. It's fun, and I'd like to have her on just so I can talk about how certain things in her career or certain things have affected her, and that's what I want to talk about with everybody. I want to say, hey, how has this affected you? How has these variables caused you to adjust and find something new or find something impactful and run with it? That's what I want. And I think if I can get a couple people on, they don't even need to be they don't even need to be big, super famous people, but not famous, sorry, or they don't need to be they don't even need to be like credible. Actually, no, that's terrible. I should not have said that. But they just need to be people. They need to be good, grounded people that can have a true conversation. And I think if I can get those people on and we can talk about whatever they want to do and what's the future for them and what's interesting to them, I think I can go somewhere with this. And I hope I can get a whole bunch more people on, and I hope you guys start picking up on this. And I think I can eventually get out of my basement filming this. Oh, that might be the name, guys. What's happening in Carson's basement? That just sounds bad. Oh, uh-oh. But yeah, like I think I can do it. And yeah, that's all I got for the first podcast, guys. It's gonna be a little choppy because I'm not too confident. Well, I'm confident in doing this, but it's just, I don't know how to talk for 20 minutes straight by yourself. That's something I gotta do. That's a strange feeling. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.